I am enjoying my weekend. I am coming at you with today's look. I'm outside, so I got bugs. Y'all may see me waving. So yeah, this was really, really smart, Melanie. Yeah, you don't do bugs. Recording in the park with bugs. Today is Saturday and I'm at the park. My name is Melanie, and you are watching Core Inspirations, a channel designed with social work students and professionals in mind. It's a time that we can talk a little more deeper about that word called self-care. Self-care plans and tactics and actions, things that we're actually implementing in our everyday life that help us to be more whole, more present, more self-aware of what we like and what we don't like and what we need and what we don't no longer need. And we have that right. Definitely, that's the whole encompasses of core living, is living from your core. Today, I want to talk about the topic, you are not your mistakes. If you're interested in that, stay tuned. Just realizing that, for one, you're not a mistake just because you made a mistake. And I came up with 3 pointers that were prevalent to me in regards to, really looking at how we deal with our mistakes. And this is at different levels. This can resonate, or this can be within a situation of in school, or when you're at work, or even in your personal life. So these transcend to different areas of your life. So let's get right into it. According to Psychology Today, a mistake is defined as the following. Generally, a mistake is a decision or an action that we come to regret. It may cause some level of struggle, loss, or pain. We may experience it as a loss, or it gives us some type of pain. But I really just had 3 pointers. My first pointer is that, you're not your mistake. Recognize just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that you are a bad person. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that you are an uneducated person or that you are incompetent. A lot of times, competency includes many, many mistakes. Like, you learn, you grow, and you learn again, And sometimes it is what it is. You have to be able to sit back and look at it and say, hey, if I did something that was a mistake, what are some of the ways that I can, do better? But it should never be a situation where you are afraid to make a mistake. It should never be a situation where you are afraid to do something, engage in something, to learn something new, or to do something new, or step out to explore something of your interest or your passion or a goal that you may have, just because you feel like how people are going to view you if you make a mistake. So be it. Not every time that you do something, you're going to be perfect at it. Sometimes it takes practice, and with practice comes mistakes. But if you're consistent about what you do over and over again, you'll learn from that. You'll learn, hey, I did it this way that time, but what did I learn? That really wasn't, I didn't meet the goal I didn't meet the outcome. I didn't like the outcome that resulted to. Or if you're doing something and working hard towards something, recognizing and owning your faults, your shortcomings, what you did wrong, and your mistake. So recognize it, own it. Hey, I did this. Yep, I messed that up. Yep, I forgot to do this. Yeah, it was me. There's nothing wrong with recognizing, and sometimes that can be hard to do because a lot of times people think about the consequences of things, or think about what others will have to say, or the embarrassment of owning your mistake. And that definition also talked about how sometimes people are really fearful, and it causes some form of anxiety because a lot of times people are afraid to make mistakes, and it pretty much paralyzed them for really going out and trying new things and experiencing new experiences, and really just going out and just exploring and discovering, and it's sad because oftentimes we're not supposed to just make mistakes over and over again and never learn. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, you know what? I made another mistake. No, learn from it. You don't want to keep on making the same mistake, But there are lessons to be learned in making mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life. They're a part of learning, because learning comes in many forms and fashions. And I'm not saying or encouraging you just to live, unethical, do things unethical, or live, gross and sloppy lifestyles. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that be open to making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. You don't know how people are going to react to your mistake, but I feel like owning it and recognizing and admitting when you did wrong is big on your part. It's big on your character. It's big on how honest and how professional and mature that you are. Because sometimes it opens up the door for other people to say, you know what, hey, yeah, I made that mistake too, or this is what you can do, for future references. Mistakes help you grow. They help you learn. Another thing about mistakes, apologizing. Apologizing, letting somebody know, hey, I know that your mistake may have caused someone an inconvenience, may have made more work on somebody else, but just recognizing and knowing that, hey, I did this thing and it may have affected you this way. I apologize for that, and just know that, hey, I made a mistake. I owned it. I'm letting you know that I apologize for it, for any way that it may have affected you in any form or fashion. And that leads into my next forgiveness. Forgive yourself, Like I said, this is personal, professional, Forgive yourself. If you made a mistake, if you did something wrong, if you didn't have clarity about something, or even if you knew better with something and you still made a mistake, forgive yourself for it. Sit back and be honest with yourself, assess and look at the situation to really examine and say, hey, I could have did better here. Yeah, I kind of fell off right there, and just really forgive yourself, and make a plan. My next is making a plan. How can you plan for better success in the future? With that mistake that you did, what is something that you can put in and implement and put in place that's going to help you to be successful, ongoing? Because, we sometimes put so much pressure on ourselves, whether it's performing, meeting that deadline, whether it's showing up for someone. And I'm not saying that meeting deadlines and showing up are not important. But sometimes, we can just do so much and put so much pressure on ourselves that we really haven't adequately planned for how we're going to be successful. And I think really that's a good base to start at, especially when we're finding ourselves making the same mistakes over and over again. Let's put out a plan and see which way we can assess, to see which way we can strategize to really do better, So if you will, definitely don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with anyone that you feel like it would be useful for, because that's what we're about. We're about building community. But over and out, and these bugs out here, y'all, oh my God. But definitely know that recognizing and owning your shortcomings and your faults and things that you may have done wrong, you really can't go wrong with that in the long run, okay? So feel free to comment below. Feel free to engage. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions about some of the topics that we discussed, because that's what this segment's about.